Good morning, gang. Happy Friday. Yeah. All right. So, how many times have we talked about watch what happens in Europe and wait for it to come here? Okay. In case anybody missed any of this, besides Biden's joke of a speech last night, uh, Europe's in a little bit of turmoil. Why? Well, we could pretty much attribute that to open borders. Gee, where have I heard that before? To give you a little bit of idea what's going on, yesterday the State Department issued a travel warning for the entire world to U.S. citizens. Anybody that is in a foreign country at this point needs to be on high alert. Why? Because of the potential for terrorist activity. Okay? Todd Brown, who's a retired State Department official who worked in diplomatic security for about 30 years, said the potential threat solution for the Israel-Hamas war, quote, surpasses anything I have seen before in the least, with the potential to get even worse. Emotions and the temperature is as high as I can ever imagine it's been. Okay. He also said the threat of escalation isn't just confined to the Middle East, but could also spread to Europe as anger over the Israeli government's action toward Gaza grows. The State Department is telling people, don't feel safe if you're in a European capital city, if you're in Paris, if you're in London, if you're in anywhere, Amsterdam, I don't care, okay? Because for the last dozen years or whatever, Europe has said, come on in. And now you have the problems where, I don't know, there's cities in Germany where no Germans live. There's areas in London where the police won't go at night because it's too dangerous. Okay. Why? Because they are completely 100% Muslim occupied areas. Now, before somebody says, you're spreading Islamophobia or something, I'm just going to say this. It wasn't the Irish, it wasn't the Filipinos, it wasn't the Kiwis who crashed a plane into the World Trade Center. It wasn't the Irish, the Filipinos, the Kiwis who tried to set a bomb in the parking garage in the World Trade Center in the 90s. It wasn't the Irish, the Filipinos, the Kiwis who blew up the Pan Am flight over Lockerbie, Scotland. It wasn't the Irish, the Filipinos, the Kiwis who bombed the USS Cole, etc., etc., etc. Okay? In the last couple of days, the United States has now closed the consulate, one of the consulates, in Turkey. Why? Because there's too many protests going on, fires, tear gas, etc., etc. We are telling all non-essential personnel in the Middle East to evacuate. We are looking at closing the embassy in Beirut, Lebanon. Okay. Why? Because none of these places are safe for Americans. Now, how safe is being in Topeka, Kansas? I'm going to give you this. The estimate is there are about 3.5 million Muslims in the United States. Okay? Nothing significant. That's about 1% of our population. Okay? And I'm certainly not going to say that every Muslim is a terrorist. Please do not even think that is what I'm saying. There are plenty of people that practice Islam that are peace-loving, good people. But there are enough that are radicalized that will commit atrocities. Let's put it this way. You had Rashida Tlaib just the other day stoking an insurrection in Washington, to the point where you had a siege on the office buildings of members of Congress the other day. It's funny because a few of them got arrested, most of them for assaulting police officers, violence. Okay. Be interesting to see if those people are held in jail for 1,000 days without any charges being filed against them, because you know the violence against police officers, that's a mostly peaceful protest, but putting your feet up on the chair of in the speaker's office, oh my God, that warrants prison time. Okay. Double standard, right, Merrick Garland? There isn't two sets of laws. Isn't that what you told us? I want to see all those people that were there in the rotunda. Yeah, I want to see them locked up. Or better yet, if you're not going to lock them up, I want to see every one of the J6 guys released immediately so they can sue the administration for unlawful imprisonment. Okay. But give you this, like I said, 3.5 million Muslims in the United States. If you say 10% of them have been radicalized, that's a population that is about the size of Cleveland, or Anaheim, or Honolulu, or Henderson, Nevada, Lexington, Kentucky, Corpus Christi, Texas, Orlando, Florida, Cincinnati, Newark, New Jersey, St. Paul, Minnesota. You getting the idea? If just 10%, if we said just 1%, that's still 35,000 radicalized people. If only 1% of the Muslim population in the United States has a tendency to violence, okay? Could this be a problem? Yes. Now, again, I'm going to say, I do not, under any circumstances, want to go back to the mentality that we had after 9/11, where anybody you see on the street of Arabic descent, oh my God, they're a terrorist. It's not true, okay? But think about this. Europe let everybody in for the last dozen years, and they've started to overtake cities. We're closing embassies. What happens with all the people that we have let in over the southern border over the last couple of years? How many of them are radicalized? I mean, there was we caught 60, I think it was 68 Iranians coming over the border a couple of days ago. There was some 40 some odd Syrians coming over the border last weekend. You can't tell me that, gee, a whole bunch of military-aged males decided to leave Iran, leave Syria, because they wanted to come here with all those great skills they have, and compete with the Mexicans for picking strawberries. That ain't the point. How many stories have you seen over the last few years about people getting radicalized by watching YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram videos, Twitter, whatever, okay? Social media is the greatest thing for a terrorist organization to use, be it Hamas, be it Hezbollah, be it the Houthi rebels, be it Iran, be it the Mexican drug cartels, be it anybody, okay? Because it's a simple way to get a message out to their followers quickly. And as much as the U.S. government or any government will tell you they monitor all that stuff, the criminals in any country are always one step ahead of the law, okay? They're always planning something before the authorities catch wind of it. That's just the natural way things happen. So, what does that mean for us? If we can't travel anywhere, we've got a travel warning for the world. The United States is part of the world, guys. So, what the State Department has said is be vigilant wherever you are. I don't care if you're in Britain. I don't care if you're in South Korea. I don't care if you're in Costa Rica. I don't care if you're in Seattle. Be vigilant. Watch what's going on. Have your head on a swivel. Situational awareness. We talk about this all the time. You do not know what is going to happen. And that is exactly what a terrorist wants. They want to put fear in you. And the State Department is playing right into that by scaring everybody. We don't need to be scared. We need to be attentive. We need to watch exactly what's going on. And if something looks out of place, it probably is. Remember the whole see something, say something crap we've had? Okay. Well, that's kind of gone by the wayside, because if you see something now and you say something, chances are when you talk to security at the store or you talk to the police department, they're going to make you out to be the bad guy until the store goes boom and you're proven to be right. But you're stereotyping. Or no, I'm being attentive. I'm doing your job for you because you let this go right on by. You see what happened if you watched any of Potato Joe's speech last night, okay? And he wants $100 billion. More money I don't know where the hell's coming from, okay? He's trying to package Ukraine and Israel together. He wants to give some $60 billion to Ukraine. He wants to give the $10 billion to Israel that they've asked for. And then the other $30 billion is kind of wrapped around some to Taiwan. Joe, you going to try to get us into 3 wars? Yeah, okay. Figure that's your plan. Okay. And some supposed to be for the southern border. But, slipped in there a little bit was a bunch of aid, humanitarian aid, for the Palestinians. So Joe's trying to play both sides of the fence. Because I want to remind everybody of this. The Palestinians elected Hamas to be their ruling authority. Okay? As much as everybody says, the poor Palestinian civilians. They elected these people. Okay? This is who they said they wanted to run the government. To run whatever you want to call they have, their 600 AD society. And now they're getting, but Joe wants to fund them. Do you honestly think 100 million or whatever Joe wants to give in aid to Palestine, you don't honestly think that money isn't all going to be taken by Hamas? Of course it is. And what's it going to have happen with it? It's going to be used against the Israelis and the Americans. So we are now, under Joe, going to use our tax dollars or money that we borrowed to cause inflation for us to attempt to kill U.S. citizens. Hezbollah is getting involved in the fight. Okay? The Houthis are getting involved in the fight. Iran is supporting all of them. We know that. There were missiles that were shot down yesterday, conflicting stories. Some were saying that they were shot at our carrier groups, and some are saying that they were shot down by our carrier groups. Either way, the missiles were shot down. What the ultimate target is, we can't say for sure. But either way, it's an interesting path for something to take. I mean, if you're going to fire from the north into Israel or fire from the south into Israel, you really don't need to go out over the Med to do it. But somehow those missiles went along that direction. I don't know, the shortest distance between 2 points has always been a straight line. You know, if you're going to drive from Chicago to Detroit, you're not going to go via Cincinnati. It's kind of my point here. Okay, those missiles flying near our ships in the Med, questionable. Are they trying to goad the U.S. into this war? Absolutely. And as soon as we get involved, all hell is going to break loose. Okay, we have, you guys know from earlier this week, called up about 2,000 troops and told them to prepare to deploy to other Middle Eastern countries. Okay. We now have 2 carrier groups in the Med. We have a travel warning around the world. You don't do all these things because the situation's getting better. The situation's getting worse day by day by day. Okay. There was all sorts of talk yesterday about the black flag being raised above the highest mosque, or the biggest mosque. I believe it was in Iran. Conflicting stories, whether that was a call to arms or whether what the flag is actually for is basically in praise of Allah, however you want to be. But there's a lot of people that are saying it could be a sign to go after a holy war. I'm not saying that's what it is, just hearing there's some comments on one side versus what the flag historically symbolizes. Okay. Pay attention carefully to what's going on. More than any other time, watch your back. Watch other people's back. Pay close attention. You've seen these protests that have gone on in Paris or in London or in Turkey or in New York or in Chicago, or pick somewhere. If you choose to go near those, be very careful, because if a terrorist wants to do damage, they're not going to set off any sort of incendiary device in a cornfield in Iowa. It's going to be in a public place. They want to scare us. This is what they want to think. The way we beat them, the way we stop this, is we live our lives the way we want, not the way they want. Because as much as everybody wants to say, oh, this is a fight for land, no, it's not. This is a fight because Islam teaches to kill all the infidels. They do not want any Jews. They do not want any Christians on the face of the earth. Like I said, I'm not going to say that every person who practices Islam is a terrorist. That ain't true. Do not mince my words and say that's what I'm saying. What I am saying is be careful. I hate that we are back to the same mindset that we were after 9/11. Unfortunately, nothing that's happened in the last 20 years has changed. And as long as we have a group of people, as small as they are, the ones that are radicalized, are hell-bent on killing other people, we have to err on the side of caution. Pinball out.